A very good morning to you. It's getting towards Samhain. I think there's about another week or so to go. And I've been preparing the cottage for winter because winter begins at Samhain. Samhain means summer's end. I've covered the sofas with some fabric. Nice cosy fabric. Warm and cosy, because that's what we all want to be during the winter, is warm and cosy. And the cottage is going through a small transition as I prepare for winter and prepare for sort of hunkering down. There's some cold weather due this weekend. I think the first real cold weather of the year, well, this side of the year. And although the trees are still holding their leaves a fair bit, there's quite a cascade going on out there. Lots of birds. The birds have become very active, feeding. Still quite a lot of forsythia, no, not forsythia, what am I talking about? Fuchsia flowers out there. And you can just see the beautiful red fuchsia. And the clematis around the kitchen window here, well, that's staying fairly green. And that will stay in place for much of the winter. I think there's a little microclimate going on there, you know, because it's so close to the stone. It's right up against the stone of the cottage, and the stone will hold the heat. And in these massively thick walls, you can see there the depth of them. There's a lot of heat stored in that stone. It takes about 3 to 7 days to heat up a cottage. It takes that long for the heat to seep into the stones and for the stones to start reflecting that heat. If I leave the stove off for more than, say, 2 or 3 days, the cottage can really cool down, and you can feel that in the morning when you get up. Got lots of birthday cards here. Now, I've been writing a list of all of you wonderful people who've sent me gifts, and I'm going to be reading out that list at some point very soon, just to say thank you, and maybe do a special little video. I might do a little slideshow video just with thank yous to various people. I think that would be a nice way of saying thank you. So, I've got a cup of tea out here, and I've got a few more prayer flags to hang up in the circle, the stone circle. I shall do that today. So I think we'll go out just on a little foray into the garden. You can see the wreath. The Samhain wreath is holding up lovely. I haven't added anything else to it because I just like that minimalist look. This is something that I've discovered over the past 18 months. That the more actual stuff that I pare down on here in the cottage, the more space there seems to be for creativity. Well, that's me. That's how my little world works. Not the same for everyone, I realise that. There's the beautiful golden green of the larch. That's a Japanese larch, and it loses its needles every year. So it goes quite bare for the winter. When Dwayne was here, he was saying that he'd never come across a tree like that. So that's why I've explained it. Dwayne made a fantastic video, which is up now on his channel, and it's all about Bealtaine Cottage. So I heartily recommend you going over to Dwayne's channel and watching that video and subscribing. He puts some lovely videos out. walk over to the tunnel and then walk back and round the front of the cottage. There was a beautiful moon last night. It was a full moon. It was absolutely gorgeous. Well, I think it was full. I didn't actually look at the chart, but it looked pretty full. And there's a few more lovely Bramley apples left on this tree. Oh, quite a few. I see now as the leaves are falling, I see more. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 in view. That bodes well for Samhain. I still have to wash the tunnel on the outside. There's a fair bit of algae up there. But that's okay. I've got a whole list of jobs to do. An ever-increasing list. Isn't that a wonderful complaint? So I was doing some chop and drop up there at the top on the south side of the tunnel. And you'll be able to see round here where I was doing a fairly big cut back. Look, I'm piling up that new compost heap, and up there along the side of the tunnel you can see what I've been doing. And if I put my cup of tea down for a moment, I'll be able to focus in, so you can see that beautiful red fuchsia, and then you can see that lovely candy pink fuchsia just behind it. Isn't that gorgeous? So I've just lowered the height of the of this little hedge. I've lowered the height of it. Now I must just show you my hands and my nails. Look, my nails haven't yet recovered from all that work down in the pond. I've scrubbed them and all. It's very hard to get them clean, and looking a bit the worse for wear. Look at the state of these, look. But I've never been a manicure person. My hands are for working with. And I often think, actually, because I have nieces, you know, who have nail extensions and stuff like that. You know how the world goes at the moment. And I'm very careful never to criticise, because, you know, life is a journey full of different experiences, and where we're all at different times. It does not require us to criticise others. But I'm always amused, just kind of faintly amused, and the way that I look at nail extensions from my point of view, which of course is unique, because here I am living this life, and not a lot of other people are living quite as I live. But nail extensions to me represent a form of disability. For me, that is. Now look at, I wouldn't be averse to having a nail extension done. I keep all options open on the horizon. But for the life that I lead now, anyway, and the life that I've led over the past 14 years, nail extensions would be a disability. It would stop me from doing all the stuff that not only I need to do, but I want to do. I wouldn't be here doing all this if it was on a need-to basis. I think you have to want. I think you have to want to keep your hands close to Mother Earth, in fact in Mother Earth sometimes. There's a lot of midwifing. I suppose that's a good analogy, isn't it? Because if you're a midwife, if you had nail extensions, you might be a bit of a liability. Oh dear, I'm conjuring up terrible images now. I've got to stop. Right. Now, I see a beautiful magpie go into my little pine tree here, Korean fir. I wonder if it's making a little nest up there, I don't know. So look at all the beautiful leaf fall there. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that for a picture. Beautiful. So we'll go round the front and drink in the colour. And look at the colour on those beautiful rose hips. That's another lovely picture, look. The seasons are quite delightful, really, aren't they? Because it's an ever-changing picture. Ever-changing. So I think this weekend, oh look at the honeysuckle sprouting new bits. I think this weekend is going to see a big drop in temperatures, and so a lot of the nasturtium is going to sort of melt, because that's a very sort of water-based plant, and when there's a frost, it just seems to kind of melt away. So I'm going to get the most of the beauty of these lovely nasturtiums. And I think most of the bees now have either gone to bed for the winter or are just doing a last minute nectar collection. More beautiful colours. This little Bealtaine has grown beautifully this year, hasn't it? It's gone from just a little tiny thing here on the edge of the rustic bed into quite a dominant feature. Of course, lots of beautiful flowers on it, and now lots of seed heads. And the antirrhinum continues to flower down there. All these little rogue plants. Oh, talking about rogue plants, here's a little rogue boy. He's been very naughty actually since I took him to the vets. Since he got those 2 shots, one of which was steroids, he's been a very naughty boy and meowing at me all the time and wanting more and more food. Well, I was out yesterday, no, let me see what day is today. Gosh, what day? Oh, Sunday. Yes, Sunday it was. I went down to Sligo. And my daughter's quite ancient cat, Irusian, he's now got to the point where, I think he's 14 or something, he's got to the point where his do you see what I mean? Irusian's got to the point where he kind of needs to eat just very soft food, and it's making me laugh. So my daughter said, could you get a few tins of, you know, that kind of incredibly expensive food. So anyway, I did. I thought, okay, my good deed for the day. So I bought a whole stack of these tiny little tins. It's a bit like sort of baby food for cats, and that made me feel quite happy actually. I always feel happy, you know, when I know that. Look, do you see what I mean about this naughty boy? Look at him, look at the carry-on of him. He's gone from his deathbed mind you see also it's coming towards Samhain, and people have often asked me, oh, that's an unusual name, Sammy, well, you guess why he's called Sammy. One of my grandsons found him as a tiny little kitten in a ditch. I think his mother had been killed on the road, and he just fitted into the palm of his hand, you know, and the more, oh look, I'm going to stop laughing because all this laughing is making it worse. He's just playing to the audience now. And he's going to get right up that tree and then he's going to start meowing at me. And my head will be just sore trying to deal with it. Yeah, so my grandson brought him to me on Samhain. And you see Samhain, S-A-M-H-A-I-N, Samhain. I thought, okay, we'll call him Sam. So he went through all kinds of name changes, of course, you know. Sam, Darling Sam, Baba Sam, Sammy Bear. And you know why I called him Sammy Bear. I mean, look what he's doing up there now. You see him? Look. God, he's a very naughty boy. I'm going to just walk away now and see if he'll come down that tree. Because you know what happens with cats? They run up a tree and then they suddenly get an attack of vertigo and then they start meowing. You bad boy, Sammy Bear. This video wasn't supposed to be about you and your carry-on. Jack's not impressed. So, just do a little pan of these lovely colours. Just quite magnificent, I think. I can never make up my mind over which season I love the best, but autumn is always there at the forefront. Look, he's come down now. Oh, no, speak too soon. Look at the cheeky head, isn't it? See, he's like a child. He's like a child. Children always get a bit high, you know, when there's a wee bit of wind and the leaves are blowing and there's a sort of a magic in the air. And cats are very, very clever about picking up vibrations and energy. Anyone who has ever had a cat knows that. And you can see Sammy Bear is picking up the energy of the transition, and there's a there's a very profound transition going on now. You can feel it in the air. This really is the end of summer. Summer's end. Jack! So there's always a little bit of chaotic energy between times, between things. And when you reach that point where something is ending and something else is beginning, that is the kind of the chaos energy. It's also a great time because it's a time of possibilities, because you can harness that energy in so many different ways. Even just going for a walk, you know, you can come back very inspired and very uplifted and very excited and with ideas going on in your head of things to do, or you know, look at this. Look, he's following me around just and running and being silly. He's absolutely loving. He's loving this energy. Well, I think I'm going to go now into the house and I'm going to harness some of this energy because I've got to get a lot of paperwork together I've got a massive amount of work to do, and over recent days what I have been doing in order to facilitate that work, I've been doing a big clear up and a big tidy up and putting things away and organising things and decluttering and filling more bags for the charity shop, and just to allow the space. You've actually got to have that physical space to allow change and to allow things to happen. Of course, we all know you've also got to have that emotional space if you want life changes to happen. So, endings and beginnings, and that incredible space in between. So on that note, I'm going to say have a lovely day, everybody, and blessings to you all. See if I can get one last shot of this naughty bear cat. Just put my tea down. Oh, look at my cotton come again, look. My microgreens. Oh, look. There he is. So I'm going to leave you with this shot of a very naughty bear cat. Blessings to you all.